Hello and thanks for joining us from our studios in Israel. I'm Aaron Porras here with ILTV's Morning Brief.
The noise isn't going away. A week after this scene where bus drivers formed a blockade on a major Tel Aviv highway, today again, roads at a standstill in the latest protest against the government's lack of support in the COVID-19 fallout. The transportation industry, particularly the bus drivers, massively damaged by the 2-month coronavirus shutdowns, pleading for financial assistance to keep their out-of-work employees above water, especially with the Israeli public still relying primarily on their services. While train lines are finally open, the carriages remaining mostly vacant on their first days returning to partial operation, just 30% of the expected passengers actually buying tickets. And it's hot out. Still, wearing masks is being enforced more heavily, and another weight is the financial one. Nearly 500,000 out-of-work Israelis are likely to have their unemployment benefits expire at the end of July. Labor Minister Itzik Shmuley calling the situation a ticking social time bomb, urging the government to quickly renew the stipends. Shmuley warning that by August, about 500,000 Israelis will be unemployed and without benefits, most of them young and some new parents, and that hundreds of thousands of these Israelis will become the new poor, a burden the welfare department can't bear. Shmuley says analysis from the National Insurance Institute show that a whopping 70% of the unemployed in Israel who would lose their benefits are under 27 years old, and those over retirement age who are out of work will also come up wanting. Meanwhile, as testing increases, we see a rising number of coronavirus infections logged, with 263 new cases recorded over the past 24 hours. This bringing the total active number of infections in Israel to over 5,000. The death toll holding since Monday at 307. But as the government looks for ways to manage the crisis, leaks now turning to pores as yet another recording from the confidential coronavirus cabinet meetings hit the media. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu calling on Attorney General Avichai Mandelblit to investigate, after audio of Interior Minister Aryeh Deri was broadcast on Israel's Channel 12, in which he's heard arguing with the premier over potential new lockdowns. This, a day after a recording was publicized of Netanyahu speaking with the Shin Bet over its tracking program to follow COVID-19 patients. 1 week to go, and the United States president is poised to make the final call on what it will support, as Israel looks to expand its sovereignty over parts of Judea and Samaria as early as July 1. Under President Donald Trump's Peace for Prosperity plan, Israel would be allowed to expand its control to some 30% of the West Bank. But the plan hasn't been agreed to by the Palestinian Authority, prompting Israel's push to move ahead unilaterally. So how to move forward? Well, to discuss the next steps, U.S. Ambassador to Israel David Friedman flying to Washington for a meeting with senior advisor to the president Jared Kushner, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, and Special Representative for International Relations Avi Berkowitz. The White House wants to see the Israeli Prime Minister and the alternate Prime Minister agree on which settlements Israel should apply sovereignty over to give the situation a better chance of permanence. The United States meeting will also discuss what to do should Benjamin Netanyahu and Benny Gantz not find common ground. Replying to a J Street-backed letter signed by some 50 Democratic members of Congress calling on Friedman to denounce violence by Israeli settlers. Ambassador Friedman hitting back in a letter of his own obtained by ILTV, saying, "Like you, I strongly condemn any and all violence by Israelis against Palestinians, and by Palestinians against Israelis. I believe that no level of violence is acceptable by either side against the other." Friedman saying he feels a dual standard, since he is being asked to condemn settler violence, but not that he do the same regarding Palestinian violence, adding that he publicly condemns Palestinian terror attacks because there is no condemnation from the Palestinian leadership. This as Palestinian protesters gathered in the streets of Jericho, funneling into the area in droves at this organized demonstration against Israel's prospective expansion.
That's all for now, but for more news from Israel, remember to like ILTV on Facebook and on Instagram, and to subscribe to us on YouTube. I'm Aaron Porras, and see you later with our main daily broadcast from Israel at 2 p.m. Eastern Time.